Yo, peace to the gods, peace to the earth. This your man King Lou is Allah coming to you on this Wisdom Day of July. In Supreme Mathematics, wisdom is number 2. Knowledge is 1, wisdom is 2. Understanding is 3. Number 4, Supreme Mathematics is culture, freedom. 5 is power, refinement. 6 is equality. 7 is Allah, God. 8 is build or destroy. 9 is born. 0 is cipher. You know, that's how many numbers it is in existence that we use. Is 0 through 9, but they are multiplied, added, subtracted, and divided and put together to make, to build, right? So in Supreme Mathematics, we go 1 through 0, right? Because 0 is a circle, circle is a cipher. Circle is equivalent to 360 degrees, which means it's knowledge complete, right? So, it was a joke that I thought of far as wisdom. People, gods and earths and Christians like to refer to wisdom as a feminine attribute, as a female, right? Like, the Bible speaks of wisdom being a she, and the gods and earths sometimes refer to wisdom as a woman, wisdom being a she. And so two wisdoms is like lesbianism. It was a joke, right? But wisdom added together, which is 2 plus 2 equals culture, freedom. And so without wisdom, you won't understand how to practice or know that you should have culture and freedom. See, to not be free is dumb. You see? And so it's just simply, just being wise enough to know and understand that you are allowed to practice your own culture without conflict, right? So and so that's simply wisdom. I'm a talker today. I got a Fat Joe story. Fat Joe hot right now. I got a Fat Joe story, and it involves this crazy girl from New York that I dated, the stalker chick, right? Now if I refer to her as stalker chick, crazy girl from New York, then I'm being fake and shallow, but not showing like love or respect or admiration. But it wasn't really like that. You know what I'm saying? And if if I'm real, like, hey, saying, give a shout out, and she would take that wrong as I'm open or receptive to us being friends, and that's not what I want. So, but y'all got a Fat Joe story. I met her in 1990, right? And we started dating in 91 after Christmas break was over. After Christmas break was over, everybody went back to Texas. I came home to Detroit for Christmas and went back to Tuskegee, and we started dating. And she had told me during our relationship, we dated from like 91 to 94. Long distance relationship. I traveled to New York, she traveled to the D or whatever. And so she told me she dated long before Fat Joe pop up. She told me she dated this light-skinned, chubby dude named Joe, right? And in a high school, right? And I'm like, oh, I didn't think nothing of it, nothing of it. And so, all that drama, her stalking me, or she was, no, I think she was stalking me or still mad that we had broke up. This is 95, I think, right? This 95. Could have been 95 or 1996. I'm back living with my mother on my old street on Lawton, right? Off of West McNichols, that's 6 Mile. And so one day, 95, 91 day, I'm in the house, right? My mother was going to work and my sister going to school or whatever. I'm in the house, and this car pull up, and this dude looked like Fat Joe in front of my house, and I got a picture standing in front of my house on Lawn in my childhood Isaiah Thomas basketball camp jersey on. That's my house on my IG. And this dude got out and he looked around, and he didn't walk too far from the car. He just looked around. I'm looking out the window, like, who is this, right? And I can't remember if Fat Joe was hot at the time. He probably would. He probably had some some albums out, but I'm not expecting to see Fat Joe in front of my house, right? And so he looked around, and I seen the back of him, and he got back in the car and left. I'm like, man. So years later, I'm like, that was Fat Joe, And so I'm like, oh, so it like hit me like, oh, you dated Fat Joe in high school. I said, oh wow, that's to myself, right? She never. I haven't talked to her since. And so I'm thinking to myself, she dated Fat Joe. And so, I could see that, her sister dated King's son. That's what she told me. her sister dated, her oldest sister dated King's son. And I think her youngest sister may have dated or kicked it with Intelligent Hoodlum. I think. When I was, I was in and out of New York a lot, visiting, going to, they stayed in West Bronx, and in a high-rise apartment, not the projects. It was a high-rise apartment, and I was going in and out the building, and I think I seen Naughty by Nature group. I can't think of their name, and I may have seen Intelligent Hoodlum, and I think her girl. Her best friend may have, I'm not sure, dated a rapper Nine. Like, what you want, Nine? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that I think. I ain't sure. So, but I'm like, okay. So then I recently heard. I'm like, so, I'm talking like, what you have Joe come to Detroit for like that, right? Yes. And I heard Joe say something about she told Joe that I put her in the hospital, right? She told Joe that I put her in the hospital. And I ain't never put no girl in. I've never hit a girl, never. Not in anger, right? She come from an abusive household, and she saw her parents physically fight, right? And I think that's how she think, or that's her understanding of love and communication is through physical violence. She always would want to fight. She would say, hit me back, or hit me. She'd hit me. And one day we was in the apartment, 2 blocks from Wayne State on 2nd and Forest, and she was punching me. And I had my hand up, right? And she blocked and so I blocked her, right, with my wrist right here. And she like sprang her pinky finger or something. And then she would just always want to fight all the time. I said, I ain't about this shit. I was smoking weed. So I was chilled in. I don't want to fight you. I don't want to argue. Let's talk, right? She was like, no. So And so she told Joe that I put in the hospital, right? Well, now this is what I heard. And so, I never put in, she had to go to the hospital. She had caught a yeast infection, right? And, she didn't know what it was. She didn't know what it was. Her private area swelled up, right? And she was like, did you give me something? She would, I was off campus over there at Northwest Activity Center. Wayne State had a satellite center in Northwest Activity Center. And so I would take classes there. I would get on the bus, go home, come back to the apartment, go to my mama's house. And, she always thought I was cheating on her, right? I mean, I didn't have the time. I was preoccupied with other things. And so, not saying that I wouldn't have, and I wish I would have had more girlfriends back then because I was really unhappy with the girl, really. And so, so she scared me one day. She was like, "You cheating on me with one of these?" No, she showed up at the satellite. She took the bus, or got a ride, or took a cab from 2nd and Forest. Now this is a girl from New York and Tuskegee. Took a cab from 2nd and Forest to the Northwest Activity Center, and talking about which one of these girls you did you give me something, because her her private had swelled up. And so we ended up walking to from my apartment on 2nd and Forest, walking to Detroit, receiving the DMC, the Detroit Medical Center. And she got checked out, and she said it was a yeast infection, right? And they gave her some medicine, but the yeast infection come from her like to do, how can I say, clean? She liked to have sex, and I think her having sex was like an escape, from her childhood trauma, right? And but she liked to have backdoor sex and then regular area sex. And the doctor said, you shouldn't do that. You should, if you're gonna have backdoor sex, you should always wash off the male and then proceed to continue to put back into regular private area sex. And so that's how she caught a yeast infection, and that's why she had to go to the hospital, because she liked to have backdoor sex and then regular sex and then backdoor sex again. And so that's how she, but I didn't ever put the girl in the hospital. But and so I think I'm popular or something. I'm blowing up in New York or whatever because like I said, I was in the rap game back then, and and my group was Deep Six, and so I gave her, and so we had shirts, and we had a single out called "Look for Me in the Mist," and so I left like, I don't know, 10 shirts with her in New York. And I put some shirts in Georgia with some cousins I had and my friends in the hood that traveled, right? And and so I'm thinking Joe had seen the shirts. This here right here. Right here. And so I'm thinking Joe, and I had a hoodie, and I started a label called Mother Funky Tunes, and I had that embroidered with my name, Lou Motherfucking Dog on the hood, and Deep Six on the back, and Mother Funky Tunes on the front. And so that was in New York with her. And so I'm thinking, I don't know, what Joe thought it was beef or something, or he wanted to get a shirt. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But, it's all good. Joe cool. In my opinion, she still don't grow. She ain't growed up. She's still a little dumb girl doing things, lying to get attention. And I don't have time for that, right? So that's my Fat Joe story, and it's a small world to meet a girl. I think that's rough. And you know, she worked at WBLS radio, and I was in New York, right? I was in New York when Pussy Combs and Heavy D threw that basketball party. I mean that basketball game Gene be talking about that then people got trampled. I was there. Not at the game, but you know, you can ask her. You know, I take a lot to take the test. She said, you know, we going to this game, but I don't know. City College. She said, we going, I don't, you like basketball, right? I don't know if we going, right? And so we didn't go, right? And did I tell, I can't remember if I said that. So, you know, we didn't go. And, but I went to work with her the next day. She was in the news department. She would splice the newsreel so the news people can read it, right? And so you know so they had a Rolodex, WBLS, WBLI radio ran by Mr. Sutton, right? Had a Rolodex with all the artists' contact information. She was going to, and you know, she put out Heavy D's. We got to call Heavy to try to get a news thing, but you know, it's a small world. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, I was around in New York when, you know, these dudes are blowing up. Fat Joe, Pussy Combs, Big. You know what I'm saying? Fagavelli, you know, she said she ran into Ice Cube at the, she said she ran into Tupac at the radio station one day. And, you know, she ran into Ice Cube at the radio station one day when he was promoting St. Ives. And, you know, she brought me a St. Ives shirt back in the day. This was in the early 90s back in the day. So, you know, I've been around, you know, I was around, she was around. You know, she used to write poetry, but, man, I think her confidence is shattered, self-esteem is low. And I'm like, how you gonna work at the radio station and you know, can't blow up or get a guest spot or get a feature spot rapping or you know what? How you can't work and plug me in some kind of way? You know what I'm saying? And I like you, and so her mind was never on, you know, the rap game, and it still ain't. It's like, you know, the rap business. The business side is over a lot of people's head, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you lame, girl. You ain't got no game. You know, you lame. And I gave all this game. You know, I gave her the hoodie, the shirts. You know what I'm saying? She was out horn with her friends and that shit. You know, let niggas fuck them and shit. So, you know, I had to, click on pimp mode. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I was around. Doing all them things, man. I was around. And so, what I want to talk about, I'm gonna talk about, I'm gonna have a paperwork party, right? And about this whole snitching thing, people, you know, and you know, people try to, you know, the end of the Bible, Revelation say, right? Don't change the words of this book to fit your life, right? That's what the end of the Bible say in Revelations. Don't change the words of this book to fit your life. And if you do, I think, if a preacher changed the Bible to fit, you know, is congregation life or his life, you know, they gonna meet hell, you know, 7 times more worse than the average person that don't know and preach the word, right? Now the average person gonna meet hell too if they change the words of the Bible. Like, if the Bible clearly denounces homosexuality, right? It denounces incest, bestiality, and homosexuality. Right? And so if you change the words to make it okay, then then according to that scripture, that book, you are subject to meet hell worse than any anybody else going to hell. So snitching, back to snitching, it got to be, on my old YouTube videos, it got to be a clear-cut definition of snitching, right? And so snitching is, and you can ask law enforcement, straight snitching is when you tell on your homeboy, your homegirl, somebody you in it with, right? Somebody you doing dirt with. See what I'm saying? Now, like I say, I could be a drug dealer, but I'm not. I ain't a drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? I used to dabble, you know what I'm saying? And, I used to dabble. I wasn't scared. I'd be in New York copping weed, taking weed on the plane, traveling on the interstate with weed, then it stepped up. You know what I'm saying? So I was in it, but it wasn't nothing major to me. Now the other people, it may have been, that rough dog, that man, you slanging, but it was side money, side hustle, just a little bit of money, right? Wasn't nothing major, you know what I'm saying? Just I was in the weed at the time, right? And so snitching is if I was a drug dealer and I told on and I went to New York to pick up some weed, right? And I'm coming back and I get stopped in Pennsylvania. And I get caught with some weed and they take me into the jail, and the state police had a DA come in and talk to me, or they talk to me and say, this is a lot of time. If you want to reduce your time, tell us where you got this weed and where you taking this weed. And so now I'm not real cool with the person I picked the weed up from, but I tell I'm a snitch because I'm down with that game. I'm down with the dope game. So rules, if I tell, I'm a snitch because that man ain't done nothing to me. He put me on, right? Ain't done nothing to me. And so I tell, if my homeboy in the car with me and I say, well, and so they get us in separate rooms and they say, who weed is it? And I say, and so we agree not to tell, we just gonna take the rap. But I say, I ain't taking the rap. And I tell on my homeboy that's riding next to me, I'm a snitch, right? It's clear cut. I done snitched on dude to save my own ass. Now, I ain't never done that. Never, ever, never done that, never will, right? But when my homeboy, my so-called homeboy, take it upon himself with his brothers to break in my house and, rob me and, try to get in my mother's car and break in my car, vandalize my home for no reason. No reason. We through being friends. So if I use an option, right? An option is revenge, street justice, or an option is do the rational, intelligent thing and start by telling the police, right? You go to the police. Who am I snitching on? It's like it's like Tekashi 6ix9ine side of things. If you listen to his motherfucking rant about why he told, then from his side, he all right to tell. They tried to kidnap his mama, had sex with his girl, tried to beat his ass, tried to frame him. So why does he have to remain loyal to people that ain't loyal to him? So why? And so snitching is, no snitching is you loyal to whoever and whatever you doing, right? So now I'm 10 years, 2004, 2000, I'm 12 years, 94, 94, 2006. I'm like 10 years. I'm like 12 years removed from these dudes. I ain't had no contact with them, nothing. And so they break in my home. You know what I'm saying? They break in my home. And, they took some things, dear to me, And like, my TV, that's gone, but that ain't, and my radio and my clothes and, some things that I went to work for, and so I exercised an option of telling the police, you know what I'm saying? I really wanted to get them dudes arrested, and I really wanted them to put up a fight, right? With the police, with my gun they stole, so they could probably wind up getting killed, right? If they that tough, don't want to go to jail. You got the AK, what? Why lay it down when the police come now, right? Yes. So, y'all gonna have to explain to me how I'm a snitch. See, I have to, I had to exercise intelligence over my anger, right? Because, that kind of revenge, no snitching in that situation does not yield, bear, or bring forth life for me. The worst case scenario, I could get life in prison or dead, but death ain't so bad, but life in prison. I'm pretty sure people will choose death over life in prison. You see what I'm saying? Over life in prison. I could get life in prison, right? For taking the law in my own hands, man. So, I exercise an option as a victim of somebody that ain't cool with them based on their previous actions and hostility towards me out of pure jealousy, right? Pure jealousy. I don't know how you say I'm snitching on you. That don't make no sense. I'm not down with home invasions. I'm not down with I'm not down with being robbed. And I ain't down with somebody that attempted to carjack my mama for no reason. You understand? No reason. So, man, his family, his brother be talking like we gonna be cool one day. To me, you trying to set me up, but I don't worry about snitches because I ain't no snitch. I walk around the world good. You understand? I walk around the planet Earth good. Everywhere I go, I'm good. On the porch, cutting my grass, walking down Nate Street, I'm good. So, I don't worry about all your snitch. No, I'm not a snitch. I'm not gonna be loyal to people that ain't loyal with me. To dudes that refuse to get a job. You know what I'm saying? Refuse to go rob banks to get money. You don't want to work, fine. Hit you some licks, arm a car, casino. Bank, get you steal some money and go buy your own stuff. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not down with lazy, jealous men just, pick the beef. They pick the beef. For no reason. They're pure jealousy. No, I ain't done nothing, no reason. All of a sudden, it's like, I didn't took in some damaged pit bulls, and I'm out feeding them, and then all of a sudden, they just mauled me for no reason. No reason. They damaged. You understand? They childhood trauma issues. They mom and daddy beat their ass growing up. I don't know what the fuck wrong with them, but they damaged. You see what I'm saying? So I don't fuck with them, and they don't understand. We ain't never gonna be cool. See, I was a good friend to them. Everybody I didn't name in them videos, let's be cool. I was cool with you, but you a hater. You jealous. I don't have time for it, right? So man, that ain't snitching. And so they don't believe, right? And so they went to Burton, Michigan, and bought some vitamins. They was at this store, and this the collection notice. And so they stole my checkbooks out of my little office, office cabinet. And they wrote a check for $49.80, right? You know, and so they sent me this. And they said the Genesee County prosecuting attorney for criminal prosecution if I don't pay this amount, right? And so they added $50, which made it $99.80. I said, I ain't paying this. So what I did was I called that lady, and so Genesee County had a bad check restitution program, right? And so I had to submit. I'm covering in my address, but I had to submit this paperwork, this an affidavit, right? You see that, to the Genesee County prosecuting attorney, bad check restitution program, September 23rd, 2008, right? And that's that's a letter that I had to submit, right? And here go their name, right? Well, I got Otis' name on it because I heard him read all. I don't, but here go and that's their name. These niggas. Back in the day, I'm gonna tell y'all about the Montgomery brothers versus the Robinson brothers, right? Now, 70. I've been knowing the Robinsons since, and I don't have no sympathy, no sentimental feelings of kinship to these dudes and friendship. I'm just saying this how long I knew these dudes. I 75, 76, 77, far back. We lived on Princeton, and we stayed across the street from each other. And so, so my parents moved one block over and down towards West Nichols, and they moved down the street on the same street, Princeton, and then Otis and Walter and Julian and Frank Montgomery and their parents moved in across the street from them. Nice house. One of the nicest homes on the block. It had a sunken living room with a fountain like Scarface. Now, it wasn't that big, but it was a fountain, right? In their sunken living room. Nice house. And the Montgomery, I think all the Montgomery boys have been to jail. You see what I'm saying? They dropped out of school. They were stealing cars, breaking in houses. And so now Walter Montgomery Walter back in 06, 04, they told me Walter was in jail, 25 with an L for dope. Now, he out now, right? And, he trying to change his life. He don't live in Michigan no more. But his brother Otis still here, right? Otis was a terror in the neighborhood, right? And so, but rewind, like in 4th grade, my house got broke into on Lawton, and people in the next block house got broken into, and the Robinson house got broken into. Later on, it was found out Walter admitted that was them. Walter and Otis admitted that was them breaking into houses. I'm like in the 4th grade. Now, Walter about 2-3 years older than me. And so in 4th grade, I don't know how old I am, but damn, these young niggas breaking the houses. And, he said they did it because he heard my parents and Vincent Robinson's parents hating on them moving in that nice house. That was their reason. Walter was in jail. We done that, dog. Yeah. And so they broke in. I think they broke in Mr. Robinson's father's house twice. But everybody got cool over the years. We was all cool. And they was trying to slang. They was stealing cars, breaking houses for a long time, checking in people, robbing people on the street, just take your shoes and shit, right? Otis, Walter, Julian Montgomery, and their little brother Frank, right? And so they finally tell Vincent, and Vincent used to refer to them as my brothers. Them my brothers. Them my, he got more love for them than his own brothers, right? And he like, they're my brothers. So when you find out they broke in your house, now I ain't done nothing to none. I'm cool. They ain't fuck with me because I ain't had no brother, and I'll fight 2, 3, 4, 5 brothers at a time. If I got to. So it was awkward. Didn't nobody fuck with me, but Otis was a bully, right? And until my homie Big Brother had to fuck up Otis one time. I saw that shit, right? He caught Otis because Otis would bully Dominique. Dominique on my IG, right? And, Dominique about 6'5", now 6'6", 300 pounds. And, he a bouncer. So I guess all that bullying and beating, he turned that into a security job. You know what I'm saying? Being a club bouncer, right? And so when they found out that, they broke in their house, they didn't, the Robinsons kept kissing their ass, right? And so the Montgomery brothers showed and proved that they was a little harder than the Robinson brothers, right? Now, there's 7 Robinson brothers and 4 Montgomery brothers, right? And, they would saying, I beat both you, Carlin, I beat both y'all ass. And I would beat both their ass for real. They always got to go get people. They got to go get their cousin. They got a big cousin, 6'5", 6'4", 290, And, he wanted to jump on me on based on some lies, but that's another story. And so when Vincent Robinson, what I'm getting at is when Vincent Robinson started robbing Fat Stank and Doodoo Brown and me, why they didn't put Otis and Walter Mama that's across the street from their father's house on the list of people to rob? See what I'm saying? If they want to play the robbing game, why didn't they go back and rob the people that robbed them? See what I'm saying? Them Robinson dudes is lame, weak dudes. All of them. See what I'm saying? So, this the kind of people I told the police on. You know what I'm saying? Now, they robbing people. Me, Fat Stank, the Officer Brown family. They robbing, they rather rob police officer family members and people that was trying to help them and help myself come up in the rap game. They rather rob people that's down with them than rob the dudes that they say these my bestest, closest friends that robbed them. So now that's weak and lame to me. Especially nowadays, because Walter lives somewhere else. I don't know if they fucking with Otis. Julie ain't never fucked with him too tough. Frank don't fuck with him. I mean, they used to kiss the Montgomery brothers' ass. You see what I'm saying? For real. And so that's lame. How you gonna rob everybody that ain't done, was giving you rides and weed and letting you chill and building with you over the dudes that then robbed you twice. You see? And then what I was saying, that they robbed me, and I heard all this. They robbed me and took some of my shit to Otis' house. They want Otis to have some of my shit. Now that's how it's like they want to pay tribute to this nigga. Otis, they robbery god and shit, right? Yeah. That's lame. Otis reading off my checkbooks. I had business checking. I started trucking companies back in the day. I had business checking. Well, nobody know my business if they didn't have my shit. See what I'm saying? So I said, oh, how you want to play? I put Otis' name down there on the police report. And so this is a copy of the affidavit of fraud and forgery. I think this the Michigan State Police. This You know, I had to do that. This check alert that them bounce check. I said, I didn't do it. Oh, then they went to Burton. They done this in Burton, Michigan. Burton, Michigan is a suburb of Flint. Now I'm thinking they, you know, handed the checks off to somebody. But they went up to Burton, Flint, so when nobody recognized them, they ain't me, right? And so here go a check alert system, right? And they bought groceries, it's Gordon Food Services, for $318.28. You see that? You see that? You know, they got a hold of my checkbooks, right? And so I filed a citizen complaint against the police because they wouldn't do nothing. That's it right there. I filed a citizen. I'm not scared of the police. I ain't done shit. I'm a working man victim. You know. And this is another copy of the citizen complaint report. Right there. And what else I got? And they charged somebody, right? You know, I don't know if I should give his name, but they charged that dude, right, for home invasion. Now he stayed across the street. I mean, his girlfriend lived across the street at the time, and you know, he got in trouble for something else, and you know, they took fingerprints. I got the fingerprint card that they stopped by and when nobody home, and I guess my mother let him in. They took fingerprints. And they pulled his print. Now he said, I went in there, dog. I seen them go in, and so I just went in after them. You know, your house was dark and all this shit, right? But I didn't steal nothing, right? And so when I was on the phone with the prosecuting attorney, one of them, I said, well, you know, I had a big floor model, big screen TV. I don't think he could carry that out by himself. So I don't think he did it, right? And then, you know, Vincent and Carl Robinson, they like to talk shit, right? And so they admitted, and they could describe what's in my house, my TV, shit they stole. You know, they like that. I said, okay. I don't, I'm not scared. I didn't have time to fight. I was in school. And, you know, while I was in school, I made the dean's list, the honor roll, the dean's list again, the honor roll. And, you know, I was doing good, working, traveling and working and just not being distracted with these niggas bullshit. And so, you know, here go the police, some of the, just the police report, one of them, you know. Y'all see that? It's a burglary, forced entry, resident home invasion. And you know, here go where I said my 8K, I had a PlayStation, my 8K, you know, I reported that stolen. It's clean. I bought that legal. You know what I'm saying? For all the laws changed. We'll say 8K right there. And so that's the police reports of all the stuff, you know. And so, you know, man, this the fingerprint that they left saying, you know, they couldn't get in to take fingerprints. Right there, that's the fingerprint. That's Mandeville. I was gonna tell on her. she told me, she sent me up to Burn, Michigan, said if I file a police report up there, she'll work with me. And so I did that and come back, I told her, they didn't want to do nothing, man. So the citizen complaint office people wouldn't let me tell on Mandeville. She a seasoned female detective, black lady, all of them black lady. And she said, you ain't finna tell on Mandy. They call her me. You ain't finna tell on Mandeville, not her. And I'm like, all right, well, So, I try to do the right thing, man. I done been in trouble in the courts and everything, you know what I'm saying? And it's, I don't want to go to jail for niggas that ain't gonna make, that don't make $100 a year because they scared to sell the shit they steal. You see what I'm saying? And they just that trifling, they just that petty, they just that jealous. So, man, and so that ain't snitching. If you don't fuck with somebody, you ain't, I'm not down with never been down with home invasion. You know what I'm saying? I case a bank and a store back in the day. You know what I'm saying? I case it, right? Maybe, plan some shit, see if we can do it, but I ain't down with home invasion and auto theft and no shit like that. That's people work too hard for their shit, man. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I was saying, so I thought I was, and I was doing this at 19, 18, 19, 20, 20 years old. And that's why that's the level I was on. I'm thinking I'm like somewhat revolutionary, right, at that age, cause I ain't give a fuck. I hop up on the counter and make everybody lay down. You know what I'm saying? They're like, dog, chill, just stay in the car. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, that ain't snitching. And, people don't, you ain't tell the police like I did. I did for real. And I tried telling the police. And now it's like if they do something I can't tell, I'm gonna have to just stab a motherfucker in the throat and face and shit. In the temple, stab him in the temple, in the throat. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying to you? So, man. But I don't live like that. You know what I'm saying? Snitching. If that's how you feel, run up. Snitches get stitches. Run up. Send me in this, pull up. Send me in the streets. I ain't hiding, ain't hard to find, none of that. You know what I'm saying? So, you save all that snitch talk for them. They be the one trying to save their ass. If and ever the police get to them when they do something, now they gonna be the one snitching. They are not above snitching. A po nigga with no knowledge is not above snitching. So, man, that's that's all I'm saying, man. So I've been almost up here going on an hour. And I'm about to chime off, man. My next video, I'm gonna talk about relationships, man. Relationships, narcissism, and names and stuff. So, but that's it, man. Peace to those that's really about peace. I'm out. Peace.